So to answer your question, are there any tips or mindsets for confidence when creating and making choices? I'm sure confidence with practice and skill, but in a moment, do you guide yourself a certain way? So I learned a long time ago that if you don't have a plan, you have to make one. Because in music, you need plans. You gotta feel by the plan it is. Like, think about like what you're making music intentionally for. Am I making music just to play it live? When I enjoy music, think about the music that you enjoy, right? What captivates you most about the music that you're listening to? 9 times out of 10 for me, when I was making beats back then, I used to think about the crazy experimentation. It was like, I'm not just hearing drums. I'm not just hearing synthesizers and chords. I'm also hearing the weirdness about everything combined. So back then, I used to struggle with trying to create music in a cohesive manner that like blended all of what I like together. And so I had to start off with the basics. My guide of how I think mindset wise is if I can get the drums to knock, then everything else follows. I already know how to play chords. I don't know how to play samples. Really what you need is a main piece of what you're building around. So if you like great drums and you have great drums, the drums are what begins the genesis of all your sounds. For me, that's what happens whenever I'm making beats that aren't like, heavily melodic. It's like I start with the drums and build around the drums from there. And once I got a drum loop, I'm like, all right, what's a chord that could work for this? Or what's something that feels right with this? And you'll begin to sense as you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again that this is your guide of what feels right. It feels right because of the fact that you've done it so much and it's a part of your pattern. It's literally anatomy at this point. It's like, what I'm gonna do first is make beats and get the pocket first. If I can get the pocket, I can make whatever is next. That's why yesterday, when my computer crashed 5 times, I knew if I can get the drums to be the first point of emphasis that sounds interesting, everything else falls from that. Unless I have the drums, there is no track. Not saying that isn't the case, because there is music and artists where people, put music out and they're like, oh, I don't want any drums on it. But you gotta have a genesis of 100% what you're building around. And then once you have that genesis, everything else falls into place. That is my mindset, and I've done that consistently for the last I'd say the last 5 years, because I struggled at one point just trying to figure out what is my best workflow to be able to make the most efficient work. And I knew if I can just get that one part, the drums, everything else will fall into place. So that's my mindset. Back to the beat. Yeah, let me add all these elements back in here.